To Colonel Linkaby did, guardian of democracy. Or do they mean the Republic? We'll see. While struggling factions press their oval claims, an envoy's tongue our Caesar's rule defames, whilst laboring virtue pants beneath the weight of savage greed and a divided state. High o'er the servile crowd did arise to summon exiled justice from the skies. All hail illustrious did, whose honest quill hath served us long, and ably serves us still, whose lofty mind from fear and folly free shews us the path to peace and liberty. 'Tis thine to guide us through the feverish fight, and lead us to O'Shaughnessy and right. Free men, behold, our civil fabric stands, the bright ideal of the neighboring lands. From at the head imperial Caesar holds enlightened power, and all his people molds. Obedient senates bless the learned reign, and yield their judgment to their monarch's brain. The honest commons, awed at peril's brink, wave with delight the tedious right to think. Democracy, thou guardian of the just, that bendest the stubborn thinker to the dust, thou sweet contemner of the vengeful fray, which but for thee will sweep the Goth away. Hail to thy courage, Caesar, who wouldst dare the guns to muzzle and the foe to spare. Thy theoretic will bids hate cease, and without victory would bring us peace. Peace, lovely peace, best blessing to befall. I wonder why we went to war at all. What though the cane-marked Goth unpunished go? If we but banish warfare's wicked woe, let bygones rest, the past is through and done. Brothers, embark the dear repentant Hun. Brothers, embrace the dear repentant Hun. But whilst our fluent Caesar types his notes, 'tis ours to aid his strategy with votes. Subjects attend, a mighty monarch pleads your suffrage to endorse his regal deeds. Disloyal he who ventures to debate a sovereign's course, for Caesar is the state. Caesar, whose soul with equal fire abhors ignoble conflict and mixed metaphors. Behold O'Shaughnessy in pomp arrayed, intent to bear his royal master aid, the people's champion and the kingdom's pride, with whom all right and wisdom are allied. 'Tis he that saved our state when warfare's cloud hung in the sky and every head was bowed. His was the hand that gave our legions gold, at least by him the legend thus is told, and his the strength that from the moneyed clan seized ill-got wealth to feed the working man. Thrice virtuous George, who hath the blended good of Fox, the Gracchi, Cade, and Robin Hood. Such is the man our royal plebes would send to join the conscript fathers as their friend. A sage whose worth a mighty throng attest, by Tammany enshrined among the blessed. Yet there is one I blush with decent shame to utter so republican a name, who dares like Cato every king defy, and seek the freedom of an age gone by. How canst thou, colt, so rashly mock at fate, And if I, with Caesar's chosen candidate, cult who can name the dark unnumbered crimes thou hast inflicted on the dismal times, was it not thou whose false and cruel lips denied the Goth a payment for his ships? By hateful traitor, modern Catiline, a people's wrath and Kaiser's curse are thine. O foe to labor, whose inhuman mood opposed the saintly railway brotherhood, couldst thou not hear a suffering people's plea, nor spoil fair blackmail of her sanctity? When Caesar last in arms to battle flew, wert thou to him, and to his minions true? Stand forth, betrayer, while thy censures ring. Thou heldest thy country greater than thy king. These crimes indeed each docile subject knows, but what new horrors doth our did disclose? From Nooseneck's peak unwonted wisdom pours, and revelation sounds on Seakunk's shores. How boils our loyal blood as we behold the page of sin and treachery unrolled. Unending evils strike our anguished eyes, as deeds republican to sight arise. 'Twas Cult that struck the hapless Belgian down, Cult who has sought a world's imperial crown. The Baron Cult who stretched a greedy hand to clutch the Serbian and the Russian land. Cult whose deep plot the lurking U-boats led, and doomed each vessel to an ocean bed. And Cult, who worse than all his deeds before, seduced our peaceful nation into war. But if his crimes against the world be great, what hath his party heaped upon our state? King Philip's war, Moshasuk's odorous rill, the cove which Democrats were forced to fill, the Union state, ugly to the gaze, repayment cars, the bane of summer days, the late Grand Trunk, whose brief career was done, almost before its young life was begun. In fact, all pests reveal his workmanship, from old Sam Gorton down to Spanish grip. Would not those vile atrocities be hid in darksome silence, but for valiant did his voice alone convincing proof conveys, and lifts O'Shaughnessy to public praise. For George with modesty hath well concealed the unnumbered virtues by our did revealed, a civic crown to him who thus hath shewn so many truths to all the world unknown. Would that I might possess to deck my song the grace of Pope or Edward Leland Strong. My humbler genius must attempt in vain to sing our heroes in a fitting strain, but skilled or not, my subject lends me fire to court the muses and excite the lyre. Say what you will, it is not wasted ink that lauds O'Shaughnessy and the Colonel Link. And one of the things that's very clear in life is that there's wrong on both sides of the war. And are the wars really for defense of anyone? You know, and what's with this fake democracy? You know, so the elite choose the rulers and direct the rulers, but the people get a vote to play some sort of a role among, so they choose among the chosen. And now that seems to be directed, that process seems to be directed even more in terms of how my country's run. Now, I would say democracy, temper democracy like by a constitution. Iran's a republic. It's governed by a constitution that apparently is
for a while has had more freedoms in here. But I mean, Iran post the 80s, and it took some time for things to take effect. But so the constitution of both countries could take some work. Some countries have some elements in their constitution. If they were fulfilled, then it'd be just great. I think Pakistan, but there's a couple things in their constitution that neither of them is even they're both far from being fulfilled. And in my country, for so long, we've had this idea, oh, if we just get a different president, even if we get the best of presidents, we still have people on both sides under him voting away things. That would be good changes to make, or at least minimizing that sort of thing. And those only support as far as is needed for their own political power.